There's a new kid on the block in Boston, Mr. Torrey Craig. He hasn't played for the Celtics just yet, as he has been dealing with a bit of an injury. So we're going to break down how does Torrey Craig actually fit into a roster that hasn't changed, give or take a player or two in the last two seasons. This is a tough environment for Torrey Craig to try and fit into. So is he the perfect fit, and did Brad Stevens make the right call? We're going to break that down here on Celtics Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Allie Barefoot, and look, I'm going to be fully honest with you guys. Our bosses says we couldn't reach 45,000 subscribers today. We are less than 100 away from reaching there. Prove them wrong and help me keep my job. Current 44,912 subs. Can we get 88 new subscribers on today's video? If you haven't already, hit that sub button for me. Let's talk about Craig's fit in Boston. Number one, this is a question that came to my mind and a lot of your minds. Is he healthy? Because what's the point of trading a player for an injured guy, a.k.a. Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis? We saw how that played out. Well, Torrey Craig did just recently come to Boston on the buyout market, and there was really only two opportunities where he could have played. Obviously didn't play in either of those games, but the Celtics did report that Craig is still working his way back from a right ankle injury and is labeled with a reconditioning tag. So he's not only trying to find out his new system and new routine in Boston, but he's also trying to rehab that right ankle, that he has been dealing with since December. December 30th was the last time he had played a game in the NBA for the Chicago Bulls. So obviously with the ankle, this is a lingering type of injury. And for Boston right now, you really don't need him to start playing immediately. Celtics are fine. We're number 2 in the Eastern Conference. We're really hoping that Craig will take his time in recovery and rehabilitation to come back as strong as ever, so we know exactly what we're getting with this new pickup. Number 2, when he is healthy, can he establish a role? I think it's safe to say Boston pretty much has their rotation set. Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard coming into the first quarter, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, Horford, Porzingis, and White, etc. Sometimes he throws in a little Neemias Queta minutes earlier than normal, maybe even a Baylor Shireman, but through and through, we know who's going to play night in and night out. So for Torrey Craig to hop in here and really establish a role for himself, here's what he can bring to the table. He's able to guard multiple positions, which a lot of Boston Celtics players are, so that's good. He'll be able to fit into the mold pretty uncanny. Capable of spacing the floor on both ends. The way that he is able to space the floor on offense is why a lot of teams wanted to find Torrey Craig on their roster. The way he is able to catch and shoot. The way he is able to linger in the right corner. Dish it out. No-look passes. That is one of Craig's strengths that he'll be able to provide on the Celtics roster. And he's had almost a decade of NBA experience. He came into the league in 2017, about 8 years of experience at this point in some form or another, so he knows how to find his footing with new teams. It's not like he's played for one team his entire life. He's been with several different organizations, so hopefully when he does enter into the Celtics rotation, he knows how to pick it up pretty quickly. And Torrey Craig even said himself, look, experience and leadership is what I bring to Boston. I've been on a lot of good teams. Just knowing what it takes to win at a high level. Obviously, these guys won it last year, so they know as well. Just me adding to that and coming in and meshing well with these guys. Torrey Craig even joked and said the number one thing on my priority list is getting to know all these guys' first names. So I get it. It's the new kid in school. He has to come into a team that's already established, and not just like a good basketball team. They're the reigning NBA champions. Craig has a lot of pressure on him to not only succeed with Boston, but also to showcase that he can keep up with the Celtics on offense and on defense, because this is a tough roster to crack. And if you want to earn your minutes, that's the key word. You're going to have to earn them. So my question for you guys is, grade the Torrey Craig move. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to give this a B+ just for right now, because I've watched Torrey Craig highlights throughout his NBA career, but we haven't seen him play in Boston just yet. Go ahead and comment that down below. We have more reasons why Craig is a good fit in Boston coming up here in just a second. But let me tell you guys about Prize Picks, the number 1 daily fantasy sports app in America. I play Prize Picks every single game day, and I want you guys to join me and 10 million active users. All you guys have to do is just pick more or less on a player's projected stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. That's right, up to 1,000 times your cash. Right now, basketball season is heating up, so you guys can choose collegiate or professional players to make your picks and test out your ball knowledge. But every single week, they do have promotions. Today is Tuesday, which means Taco Tuesday is in full effect. That is a discounted projected stat off of a player. As you guys can see, Joel Embiid was projected to have 42.5 points, rebounds, and assists. They knocked it down to 36.5, so I'm going to take the more on that. And then I'll have Andrew Nembhard to have less than 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists going up against the number 3 team in the East, the New York Knicks. So if you guys want to go on ahead and make your Prize Picks, download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code CLNS. This will give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code CLNS. That should give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. There is a championship culture in Boston, playing for Joe Mazzulla. And just knowing that you are now wearing that shamrock on your chest, there is a level and a standard to uphold. How will Torrey Craig adapt to the Celtics culture? If you got traded to the Charlotte Hornets, they're struggling. They're trying to find their culture. But this is a team that looks like friends on and off the field, on and off the court. This is Sam Hauser, who throws up on the duck boat during the parade. And speaking of Sam Hauser, Torrey Craig made his sideline debut against the Miami Heat. And I circled Torrey Craig. He's wearing green. A little bit hard to see, but if you can't tell, he is raising his hands up in the air after Sam Hauser made 5 3-pointers against the Miami Heat. This is a guy who has not put on the jersey yet. He has not played a single minute for Boston, and he is still loving his teammates and showcasing the joy and the hype for his teammates before he's even played. I think he'll adapt pretty well to the Celtics winning culture. Torrey Craig even sparked a little bit more about what kind of teammate he is and what he could bring to Boston. He said, "You always want to play for something and compete for something. And I'm a super competitor. And I want to play basketball the right way at the highest level. Just to get an opportunity to come play with these guys was a no-brainer. I know that there are NBA players out there jealous they're not on the Celtics. You can't tell me this team doesn't look like it's a lot of fun. You got Pritchard nailing half-court shots. You've got Neemias Queta putting up 2-hand slam dunks. Everybody appreciates and respects everybody. And number one, they're all having fun because they're winning. The Celtics have a championship culture. Of course, Torrey Craig would want to be a part of that, and he's showcasing it so far. Another reason why Craig could be a good fit in Boston, the Mazzulla ball contribution. As you guys know, Mazzulla ball is taking the most efficient shot before the Boston Celtics. That tends to be the most 3-pointers they can possibly take in the entire world in a single game. So how does Torrey Craig really mix in here with Mazzulla ball type of play, which is not for the faint-hearted, let me tell you. Craig fits in perfectly. He is incredible at catch and shoot 3-pointers, and with having that playoff experience, which is going to come in handy come the postseason, he averages 5 points per game, 3.3 rebounds per game throughout the playoffs, 48% from the field, and 38% from a 3-point line. He's showing me that even on the brightest stage, Torrey Craig can knock down some shots from 3. I'm really hoping that adding this wing to the roster will still be able to mix in with that Pritchard and Hauser rotation. I think that because Torrey Craig doesn't come in and try to be the superstar, Pritchard doesn't either, nor does Sam Hauser. They know their role. They know off the bench, when I'm playing for however long I'm playing, I am here to help my team win. And I think that's the type of mentality that Torrey Craig will also adapt, not to mention he can knock down some threes in the meantime. If you guys are excited for Torrey Craig to play some Celtics basketball, go on ahead and hit that like button for me. We haven't seen it just yet, but if you're ready for Torrey time, go on ahead, hit that thumbs up button for me. Number 5, the playoff experience. I talked about this a little bit about earlier, talking about his 3-point percentage and what he's been able to do throughout the playoffs, but he's been in the playoffs before. He understands the level of pressure that comes with that. And to add on to a Celtics team, a former championship team, a reigning championship team, that is where his experience will come into play. I think the three-point percentage is the number one thing the Celtics are really going to try to utilize in the postseason, and I do think that we have seen this time and time again. Sometimes the Celtics go through a little bit of a rut in the first half where Jason Tatum can't make anything, Kristaps Porzingis can't seem to defend. Having that electric player off the bench, the Hauser threes, the Pritchard skills, having Torrey Craig off the bench is going to be monumental in TD Garden. Last but not least, we are trying to reach 45,000 subscribers on this channel. He could make his debut tomorrow against San Antonio Spurs, and we will be live. So go on ahead and do one thing for me. Hit that sub button on Celtics Today by Chat Sports.